Outtakes Movie Podcast. I am Sam, and we are starting to wrap up our quest to determine the objective list of the best to worst movies of all time. I'm joined as always by my amazing team. Amelia, what's going on?
Going great. I don't think anyone's ready for this list. I don't think anyone.
The finalised list. Mm-hmm. It's interesting. I'm looking at it now. It's... oh, no, it's certainly something. Joe, how's things?
It's alright. Not bad. Not
Sick.
Bad. Watch this film for the first time in years.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. I'm sure we'll talk about it later, right? Same here. Same for all of us, I think, right? I was very excited for this because I really loved Batman Forever. This movie, I'm not going to get mad about it. No use getting mad about it, but it was certainly something. And Jacob, you didn't even like the last one that we did of this.
Not at all.
How are you?
So, we'll see how this goes.
So, this week we are covering Batman and Robin, the second Joel Schumacher Batman movie, the fourth Batman movie in the original continuity, and it came out June 12th, 1997. That's my birth year again. We covered a movie pretty recently, around this time. That was Space Jam. So let's see. Space Jam was before this. Let's see what the world of charts, video games, and movies is since Space Jam came out. So, at number 18 in the pop charts, we have The Beautiful People, Marilyn Manson. So it's kind of late 90s, kind of like metal rock is sort of here. We're about to hit Limp Bizkit era. That's sort of where we are. So Marilyn Manson is the kind of like, we're here to sort of end the really cool stuff and usher in Disturbed and Rage Against the Machine. I like Rage Against the Machine. That era. At number 13, it's I Believe I Can Fly by R. Kelly. More like, nice. Oh no, not this guy again. Number 3 is Paranoid Android by Radiohead, a song I do not know, but Jacob, you mentioned it during a Hitchhikers episode.
Hey. I did.
And at number 1, this is probably the most 1997 song I can possibly think of. Bop by Hanson.
Oh, good God.
Oh, God.
They must still play that at school discos, right? There's no way they don't.
Surely.
I mean, things like Mambo No. 5 have been doing pretty well. Like, I'm pretty sure they still play that.
God, I love that song. When that comes on in work, I'm not doing any work while it's doing. I'm just jamming out. It's fantastic. In the world of video games, there was not a lot. But it's right at the start of the month. Just on Wikipedia, it's just listed as June with no date. So just all the way through June, I guess. The original Harvest Moon came out. So if you like farming and video games, there's the Harvest Moon series. In the cinema, however, we had an interesting lineup. So obviously, Batman and Robin was there on the 12th. We also had Face Off and Con Air for a double dosage of Nick Cage.
Yes.
Yeah, in the same
month.
What a
month. That would have been... I would have been in the cinema those months, you know what I mean? Living there.
We also had Speed 2, which was Speed on a Boat. And...
Nice.
Is that Cruise Control?
That's Cruise Control, Speed on a Boat.
The infamous Speed 2.
Because the Speed on a bus. Speed 2, Speed on a boat. And what's Speed 3?
Speed on a plane.
Speed on a hand
Is it
glider.
Speed on a... It's not Speed on a plane, is it?
Let's have a look.
No, I don't think it is,
Is
but I'm just trying to think of
Speed
vehicles.
I think there's a Speed 3, isn't there?
Rocket
3.
ship.
I typed in Speed 3 and it's come up with Father Ted episode 3, season 3.
So I guess there wasn't a Speed 3 because I was thinking the only other Speed thing I've seen is the Father Ted episode where it's Speed on a milk float.
I was gonna say I'm pretty sure that was a milkman. Yeah, there's only 2.
Yeah, it's a good episode. Man, I thought there was more Speed movies.
I can't blame them. As soon as they made the second one, like they were gonna make a third one after that.
It's a limited concept, isn't it, really? For the Speed movies. There's only so many things you can do with it. And Disney's Hercules also came out this month. So that is also a pretty decent flick. Regardless, we're not talking about any of those. We're talking about Batman and Robin. Joe, take it away.
So, Batman and Robin, the much anticipated sequel to Joel Schumacher's 1995 classic, Batman Forever.
Was it?
Yeah, obviously. What do you mean? They're going to be finding copies of it in like 1,000 years and be like, whoa, look at this relic. It's going to be in museums. Like, do you know Batman Forever.
Exceptionally weird about this timeline is this man is 4 or 5 years away from making Phantom of the Opera,
I was just looking at his old stuff. He died this year as well.
Oh, rip.
Yeah.
Rip.
Yeah, he did,
in June.
That doesn't mean his movies are good, though.
No.
Who let him direct Phantom of the Opera? Like, what the fuck?
And why do I have it on my bookshelf? And why do I watch it way too much? That's another question
Amelia,
for another
no,
day.
it's not good. No. Why do you do this to yourself?
Folks. You're lucky I didn't pick that.
But so sequel to Batman Forever. Sequel to a sequel to a sequel? Is it 3? Well, no, it's the 4th one, isn't it? So it's a 3rd sequel along. So, once again, the mantle of Batman is passed around like James Bond or something. And this time it's George Clooney who dons the cowl. He has since apologised for playing this role. And he publicly acknowledges that this is a trash film. So I'm pretty sure I've seen a thing where he was like, yeah, I'm pretty sure I was afraid I ruined this like cinematic Batman Forever.
There's something of him on Graham Norton. I haven't watched it in full, but yeah, there's apparently that's supposed to be quite funny.
Yeah, he was very happy to see Batman Begins come out because he was like, oh, thank God, I've not just destroyed Batman films forever.
I don't think it's really his fault, though. I don't think he's that bad in this movie.
You know what's really strange?
He's just George Clooney.
There's worse people in this film, Jacob.
Oh, yeah.
But George Clooney is not being very good in this either. It's the delivery of some of his Batman lines. Admittedly, if I was made to say those, I would probably have as much enthusiasm as he did. But, oh man.
Do you know what? There is a bit of a missed opportunity, though, because I don't think George Clooney inherently is a bad Batman. As an idea, right? I think he could do it well. And I think one of the things I noticed watching this movie is he actually sounds a lot like Kevin Conroy.
Yeah,
like, he sounds a lot like the Batman
I
animated. You know
like
what
his
I mean?
thing, he sounds like the animated Batman when he's doing the Bruce Wayne voice.
Yeah.
Not the Batman, but it's really weird. It's a weird kind of thingy. But yeah, either way, it's a terrible film, as we all know. Batman Forever, it's good. It's not any better of a film. It's still a really bad film, but it's got nostalgic elements to it that makes it really good, and that means that I can really enjoy it. Go on.
Are these films linked in any way to like Batman '89 and that, or is this supposed to be like a redo?
Yeah, it's the sequels to that movie. Yeah,
okay.
The
I was going to say
sequels,
because I was just thinking that the music sounds so similar to that original, like da 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 da, and I was just like, these meant to be linked.
This is like technically the 4th film in that franchise of films. Like when you buy, when you buy them all together, you get all 4 of them. Like my Batman Blu-rays is all 4 of them. Yeah, because if you look, like the Alfred is the same in all 4 of them, played by is it Michael Gough? Is that his name? Whatever his name is. He's the same in all 4 of them, and I think the Commissioner Gordon's the same in all 4 of them as well. So, oof.
I mean, you can have actors carry over and it still be like a different...
Well, yeah.
Like a reboot, like in Brosnan Bond and Daniel Craig Bond. Judi Dench is M in both, but they're separate. They're not supposed to be sequels of one another. Well, the Craig doesn't carry on from Brosnan, does it? I
think with this, it's very much meant to be... Because even with the 2 Tim Burton ones, they're not really direct... Batman Returns isn't a direct sequel, really, is it? It's just another Batman story. And I think that's what these ones are as well. It's just each one's its own thing. This is definitely a sequel to Batman Forever, because unlike the others, obviously Robin carries over into this one as well. So this is a direct sequel to Batman Forever. I suppose you could class them all as like different stories.
Now we're here in 2020, and look, this movie is not good. But the thing is, the points where it's not good, in my opinion, there's a lot of this movie that's really boring, right? With Batman Forever, it's a bad movie, but it's got such a fucking like energy to it the whole way through that I just couldn't help but love it. This movie, when it was being Joel Schumacher's Batman, was fantastic. This has some of my favorite cinematic moments ever in it. I'm not even joking, right? But there's a lot of just like Bruce Wayne on a date, Bruce Wayne talking to the press, Bruce Wayne getting sad but still smiling in his office. Like, there's a lot of that, and it's dull and it's melodramatic, and I hate it. When it's being silly, it's brilliant. And I'll put this out there, right? I would actually rather, legit, right? There's lots of talk right now about a DC multiverse thing because Michael Keaton's supposed to be in The Flash, this, that, and the other. I would much rather see the Joel Schumacher Gotham again. I would much rather see Val Kilmer or George Clooney again than ever see... I like Michael Keaton. I'm not interested because he's dull and serious, and I'm so bored of that Batman. Please, DC... Please, right? I just want I want giant statues all over Gotham. Please, all neon lights everywhere. I want George Clooney back in my life. Please, DC, that's all I want. It'd be way more interesting. Please.
Like, I mean, to be fair, they could proper lead into this like ridiculousness of it.
With Nick Cage's Superman.
Oh yes,
that's
so good.
Please.
That'd be so with his long hair and everything.
Yes.
Oh yeah, that'd be so good. That'd be so good. I'd love that song. What an alternate universe that would be. That's a film I'd make. But yeah, this film, it's terrible. But you know, it's like you say, it's got its good bits. But right, I've got a little game for us. Okay, it's called Guess the Rating. Okay, the rules are simple, as the name suggests. You need to guess the rating. So I'm gonna give each of you a different like media outlet, and you got to guess like what each one like rated this film. Okay, has anyone seen any of the ratings for this film? No. Okay, right. So Amelia, I'm going to give you IMDb. Sam's going to get Rotten Tomatoes, but like the critic score.
Okay.
And Jacob's going to get Metacritic, and you've all got to guess what each one gave the film.
Okay, IMDb, they're out of 10, aren't they, normally?
Yeah, out of 10.
I think it could go two ways. I think they could have been, like, really harsh and gone for something like a 4. But I also think they might have, like you say, kind of seen the kind of family aspect of it and gone for more of, like, a 6 or 7.
Is IMDb's rating based on, like, fan reviews?
Yeah, anyone can influence it.
Yeah, so...
It's not like a whole body of critics, it's just anyone can...
So it could go either way, because sometimes fans love a movie, but the critics hate a movie, so like...
Well, yeah, this is the kind of the thing. This is why with the Rotten Tomatoes, I've gone the critics. And then I think the Metacritic score is critics as well. But yeah, IMDb's fans, so what do you reckon? What do you reckon they've given it?
I think it's either 4... or 7. I reckon it'll be either those.
7? You think this has a 7 on IMDb?
I feel like the fans love it for how shite it is.
I think she's right, you know. I think she's right.
There has to be a lot of fans.
Well, we're talking Batman fans here. Batman fans are crackheads to begin with. Look at Joe. My guy casually likes Batman forever.
It's a good film.
But he doesn't like this one.
Yeah.
He's already admitted that.
Well... So wait, okay. What are you saying then? 7 or 4 is your final answer?
Are you checking, Amelia? Are you cheating?
No.
Wow.
Okay. I'm gonna go with 4. I'm gonna go the other way. I'm gonna go 4.
Okay, so you. Okay, actually, go on. I'll get answers from everyone, then I'll reveal.
Okay, I'm gonna go. It's percentage rating on Rotten Tomatoes, isn't it? Out of 100.
It is.
I'm gonna go 45%. I think it's bad, but I think like I think because of the internet, there's still probably some serious critics that might want to give it like a good faith sort of look, and I think that's probably raised it up from maybe it would have been a 30% early 2000s. I think it might have come up to maybe a 45.
Okay, so what was yours? 40? Did you say 40%? I'm
gonna say 45%.
45%. Okay, so Amelia said 4 out of 5, 10 for IMDb. So I'm saying 45% for Rotten Tomatoes. Jacob, what are you saying for Metacritic?
1.6.
What?
So wait. So it's out of 100. So with Metacritic, it's out of 100.
It's
out of
16. That'd be, wouldn't it, or whatever you just said?
I guess 16 then. Yes.
Jesus.
Right. So 16 out of 100. So out of all of you, the closest I'd say is probably Amelia.
Okay.
With her
Really?
4.10. Yeah. So
God.
IMDb. It's rated 3.8. I'm going to say 8.3
Imagine.
then. Yeah, 3.8 out of 10. Sam, you're way off with the Rotten Tomatoes. It's rated 11% on Rotten
11.
Tomatoes.
No. Oh my god.
Oh my God.
Oh, it's insane, right? And Metacritic, Jacob, you weren't as far off as Sam. On Metacritic, it's 28 out of 100, which, yeah.
All right.
So,
yeah.
Weirdly, right, when you look at, like, especially with Rotten Tomatoes, when you look at, like, if you try and convert the, see, I'm looking at this now, actually, and maybe I'm wrong. I mean, all the scores are right, but the thing says here that when you convert 11% into, like, out of 10, it comes at 3.8. That doesn't seem right. That's way off. Nah, forget that. Anyway, but yeah. The website was wrong. Anyway, but yeah, right. So, interesting enough though, right? Critics who rated this higher, because there were some, like, high ratings on this film, they kind of, the ones who rated it higher were the ones who were like, it's trash, but it doesn't try to be anything but trash. So they give it a high rating. Okay, so an example is Elvis Mitchell from the New York Times. He gave it a 7 out of 10. And he said, quote, Joel Schumacher piles on the flashy showmanship and keeps the film as bold, big, noisy, and mindlessly overwhelming as possible, end quote.
That might not be a good thing.
No, I don't think it is a good thing now. But
he doesn't go around reviewing trash. He doesn't look at, like, a wheelie bin and goes, yeah, no, I'm going to rate that trash, like, 8 out of 10. He's a movie reviewer. So why are you saying, oh, this is good trash?
The only issue I have there is the insinuation that it doesn't try to be anything more, because it does. Like, the stuff with Alfred in particular, it is actually trying to make a point, and it fails. Like, if it was trash, I'd be on board with that assessment, but it's not. So
yeah, I mean, I think Batman Forever, it's weird one, isn't it? Because with that one, it's like, right, this film, let's just go a bit crazy with it. Whereas with this one, it tries to be a little something extra, and it's like, don't.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyway, obviously, so we've already said about Clooney playing Batman, but we've got a few other stars of this film, obviously. So Chris O'Donnell reprises his role as Dick Grayson, aka Robin, as does, we said before, Michael Gove is like the series regular. Not Michael Gove.
Not Michael Gove.
Michael Gove is someone else. Michael Goff. He reprises his role as Alfred. But we've got some new people coming in. Alicia Silverstone comes in as Batgirl. For some reason, she's in this.
I'd like to ask something straight away. Okay, so they made the decision to make her not Commissioner Gordon's daughter, but Alfred's niece, right?
Yes.
So they changed the last name, but they didn't change her to Barbara Pennyworth. It's Barbara Wilson.
Yeah.
Where's that from? Why have they done this?
You know what's really weird about that as well is they've done that on purpose, because the reason she's related to Alfred is because it's his sister's daughter. So if his sister married, so I suppose his sister married someone called Wilson.
Yeah, that's why it is. But it's just like from the point of the canon that we as audience members know, does it not make more sense to call her Pennyworth?
I think so.
Instead of just some random name.
Probably a bet.
Weird.
Wilson.
Yeah. Oh man, it's so weird. But then I think, imagine her being the Commissioner Gordon that's in these films, right? He's such a bumbling idiot. Mm-hmm. Can you imagine his daughter being Batgirl? Imagine what that guy's daughter's like. Genuinely. If anything, they've made
a good contrast, wouldn't it?
I suppose. You know what? Maybe, yeah, there you go. There's your conflict. Oh, my dad's a fucking idiot. I'm going to be Batman. I'm going to be Batgirl instead.
Yeah. Because then imagine if she got captured and like, right, tell us your name. And she's like, oh, my name's Barbara Gordon. I'm the Commissioner's daughter. They'd be like, yeah, right. I can't imagine the Commissioner's daughter can do backflips and shit. Perfect.
Oh, man. But yeah, there you go. She's got a brand new origin story for no reason whatsoever. But then, obviously, we've got, as villains, we've got Arnie playing Mr. Freeze. Classic.
You hate this, Jacob.
He makes that sound.
No, that was just my Arnie impression.
I was going to say.
It wasn't to begin with. I thought I would just moan, and then after I was done, I was like, actually,
Pretty good.
That's just what that was.
That's him, yeah, there you go.
That's
It's what he spends the film doing.
It's definitely one of these, isn't it? The Arnie Mr. Freeze, where it's one of the most aggravating parts of the movie because Mr. Freeze is not that far away from having that really incredible like Batman animated episode that everyone knows, that like totally redefine like the origin and the meaning of the character and everything, and establish what we know him as today. The fact that they borrowed the actual stuff, the details from that origin, but made him into this, like, I love it, but please don't try and attach it to that stuff. Like, no. Thank you.
It's just, I feel that's the only reason he's in it, is because he's like recently become like, because it was this year as well, it was 1997 that the comics adopted the Mr. Freeze origin as well. So he was brand new to he wasn't brand new to the comics, but this backstory was brand new to the comics as well, so it all kind of lined up. But what a waste.
What his backstory used to be before it got I'm guessing it got changed to, my wife's got this disease.
So in the animated series, they had the episode called Heart of Ice, and it's like one of the highest. It's basically everyone thinks it's the best Batman animated series episode of all of them. Everyone loves it so much. It's been rated like the highest one in so many different like votes and shit like that. And they reimagined like the whole of his backstory. They gave him the wife with the terminal illness, and they gave him all the other stuff. But before it, he was just kind of a dude that liked ice.
Oh, right, okay.
Like how he is in this.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. He's not got any kind of aim. He might have done, but it wasn't proper. It was like, he was in like the Batman 66 series, again, as a guy who liked ice and steals diamonds and stuff, and that's it, really.
So kind of like Penguin in
Yes.
Batman Returns.
Yeah, I suppose. He just likes ice.
He likes ice and hangs out.
He just hangs out, yeah. Like, I like some cold stuff. Get some ice cream, Ben and Jerry's, you know. That's just kind of what he was like. And then obviously Paul Dini, master storyteller via Batman, changed the whole thing, and now he's the Mr. Freeze tortured villain that we all know and love. But not in this. He's just a fucking weirdo in this.
That's segue.
But then, speaking of fucking weirdos, Uma Thurman's also in this as well. I mean, I'm not saying she's a weirdo. I'm saying the character she plays is a weirdo. Poison Ivy. And Bane also appears in this film.
You mean the WWE wrestler?
Yeah, he is incredibly dumbed down compared to his comic book counterpart. He is, and it's really sad because when I was younger, this is what I thought Bane was like.
Same.
Which is really sad. When I read like Nightfall, and I was like, "Whoa, this guy's actually cool." And then The Dark Knight Rises came out, and it's like, okay, great.
Which Bane, this one or Tom Hardy's one, would you say is closer to the comics?
Tom Hardy's.
Sort of,
which
yeah.
Is Tom Hardy's, when that one's more like grounded and real world and everything else.
So if I was going to pick any of them, I would say probably the Arkham games one is probably really close as well. I mean, he's just kind of
in those Arkham games.
He's still... He doesn't really have a major role in any of the games, so it's really hard to say. But he looks most like the comic version, and I don't know.
Even in the games, though, he's just some brute.
He's a side.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I think the thing with Bane, because I was like you, Joe. This was the only exposure I had to him as a kid. It's all I thought Bane was. This version of Bane is so bad it has to be, in my head, relegated exclusively to the Lego universe. It's the only universe where this is acceptable, right? Because so Nightfall, it's a hard read, Nightfall. And it's a hard read because it's 12 issues, and it's Bane having basically
it's more than 12 issues if you read the whole thing.
Oh, yeah, if you include like all the...
If you read the whole thing, like there's got the whole... It's like 3 volumes. Each volume's like that thick. It's stupid.
But
it's like 3-4 years worth of stuff.
The main bit, the start of it, basically it's the death of Batman. That's what it is. Batman dies.
Leading up to the bit where he breaks his back.
Yeah.
That's about 12
Bane
issues.
organizes between like basically the entire criminal syndicate in Gotham to just give Batman one night of absolute hell. Like he goes from villain to villain to villain to villain to villain, getting ever more exhausted the entire way through the night until the clash with Bane, at which point it is an unwinnable fight and he does indeed lose.
Yeah, it's very
Bane breaks
similar
the bat,
to
and
the...
it's very good.
It's very similar to the one in Dark Knight Rises where he just lets them all out. Of like Arkham, he's like, go wild, it's fine, do whatever the fuck you want.
But instead of being the third act of the story, it's the whole story.
Yeah, he's a lot smarter in the comics, and in this he's just some juiced up guy being like, oh, Bane, you know, I've got fake muscles. Ooh. I mean, I don't know if the muscles are fake, but yeah. Anyway, this guy. He's played by a guy called Jeep Swenson. And this is actually one of his last films that he was ever in. Because he died like 2 months after the film came out.
Fucking hell.
So, what a legacy to leave behind. I don't know. I didn't actually look. I just know that he died in like the August or something. He died on the 18th of August. R.I.P., bro.
That's crazy.
I think he was in one other film. Or one other film came out after this that he was in. I don't actually know how. Yeah. So this was his like last major film. So R.I.P. that guy. But yeah. So that's all the cast and stuff. There's other people, but the film's not worth talking about with its people. So I'm gonna quickly go through the story, and I want to spend as little. I want to spend as little time on the story as like the screenwriters did.
Before you carry on, I found out how he died. He died of heart failure.
Oof.
I didn't really want to speculate,
Bane,
but no, that's Big Bane.
Bane.
That's Big Bane.
Big Bane. Okay.
I didn't really want to speculate, but looking at the guy, it does not shock me.
Yeah.
It was green for crying out loud. Why didn't anyone tell that something was up?
Yeah. Literally, I had like green veins.
That was so bad it was good.
Right.
You can choose to keep that in or edit that out. That's up to you, Sam.
Okay. Wait, what's the story at? There it is. Right, okay. So the story, it's shite, and there you go. That's the story. No, I'm joking. I've got the story written down. Yeah, so Batman and Robin, they're still the dynamic duo that they were when we left them in Batman Forever. They're still running away from the light on rooftops, and dramatically, as we'll learn later on, they'll get an additional person to run away from lights on rooftops to end the film with. Yeah, so they go to fight Mr. Freeze at a museum, who is there to steal some diamonds. Unfortunately, Mr. Freeze is able to escape in a rocket, but Batman and Robin, they're manage to jump on board and they get inside. And they do some sailing, they do some surfing from the sky as the rocket explodes. They do some surfing over rooftops and good old CGI activities.
It's so good. It's so good.
While
that big
kind
arm
of
that he goes down.
It's awful. It's awful. It goes into like a pipe or something. Like this city that has massive statues just happens to have like industrial pipes sticking out of the buildings as well. Luckily for him, so they go into this pipe and it's all frozen and shit. And he freezes Robin, and Batman's gotta let him go to save Robin. Great, fantastic.
Fucking Robin.
Robin.
He's like, you're gonna have to save him or catch me. He's gonna take 11 minutes to thaw. Puts him in water. He's unthawed in like 3 minutes.
No, he's going to be 11 minutes until he's dead. That's what it is. You got to thaw him now because it's 11 minutes until he's dead.
Even so,
the logic problem there. The logic problem there is actually more that he says, "I'll kill you next time." Just kill him now.
Yeah, I don't know why he's running off. Just freeze him as well. You know what I mean? Freeze them both. But then saying that though, why does Batman not just jump on Mr. Freeze straight away? He's like 2 meters away. You could probably just throw him or something.
He's not really Batman in this film, is he?
I suppose.
He's not. Yeah, he dresses like Batman and he has like a laser gun for some reason, but he's not.
They've got all these Power
regular-
Rangers props. That's what this movie reminds me of.
Yeah,
Power
it was
Rangers.
so weird.
Yeah, it was just Power Rangers, the hockey team from hell or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah, that's exactly what reminded me of
It's
Power
just
Rangers.
putty dudes
Yeah.
or whatever they're supposed to be in Power Rangers. This movie is a Power Rangers movie.
It is. It
Yeah.
is.
Do you know what really like weirded me out? Right, I was prepared to love this Batmobile. You know when it ascends out of the Batcave and it's got like a million blue LEDs on
I
it,
remember what it looks like.
and it looks like a fucking bad dragon Batmobile. Don't Google that, kids.
It looks
Then-
like a what?
Don't Google that, Jacob. Basically, when he gets in it, right? What I don't like that he sits in it like an action figure. Right? When it rises up out the ground, I was like, oh, it's a cool big Batmobile car. And then he sits in it, and it's just one seat with one little wheel in front of him and no cockpit. He's just sat in there like a fucking... I don't like... It's weird.
It's
Well, they need
because
to
it's
sell
a
the figures,
toy.
don't they?
That's it.
I know, but... They usually, you just make something that looks cool in a movie and then they make a toy analogous to it later. They didn't literally have to put the toy in the film. What the fuck?
Yeah. Well, how else are you going to max it? You know
Did
what
this
I mean?
get a run in Happy Meals? Does anyone know that?
You know what? I didn't even look. It wouldn't
Do you know what? I
surprise
feel
me.
like it
but
probably had like. I reckon it had like.
I don't
Burger King.
think. Yeah. I don't think
Hang
it
on,
was
I'm
as
gonna do it. I'm gonna
mad
sneeze
as
as well,
Batman
I
Forever's, where he basically tells Alfred that he's going to go to McDonald's at the beginning. It's
No,
not
but
that bad.
the opening line's just as good.
Yeah.
I want a car. Chicks love the car.
Oh, man.
When you start in your
awful.
script with that, something's gone wrong. Like, bin it, start again.
Yeah,
You know
there's
what's
no-
mad about
there's
that,
no
right?
Batman and Robin toy that I can find at the minute.
No,
Man.
from McDonald's.
Yeah.
Like,
I doubt McDonald's even wanted to touch this with a barge pole. Like they don't want that in their food. Well, in their food, in their
I mean, I don't know if I'd want
Carry
Batman
on.
and Robin in my food either, to be honest.
This film has
Like-
killed brain cells. I swear to God.
Yeah.
What year was it? 1997 or something?
Yeah, 97.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's. Oh! No, no matter. I thought it was, but it's. They did. Taco Bell did animated series stuff.
Taco Bell.
Oh, man.
Yeah,
Taco
no,
Bell,
I
imagine-
don't think there was.
Getting toys from Taco Bell when you're a kid. Americans, that, you know. Americans are weird. But yeah, anyway. Mr. Freeze escapes and Batman Thor's Robin and he's all like, what does he say? He says something, doesn't he, when he
You
comes
little
out the water? He says like, did he get away? Or did we get him? Or something. It's like,
Yeah.
fuck you, dude. Obviously not. You got froze.
Isn't there a bit in
Twat.
this movie where he says something to Batman and he literally turns around and goes, shut up, dick? Isn't there a bit in this movie where he does that?
Hang on a minute.
Oh, it's,
You know what,
Yeah,
though?
there's something like that. He says, I don't know why I'm trying to remember. Of course I'm not going to remember what the line was.
You know what I'm thinking though, right? You know what that reminds me of though? It's one of the greatest Batman lines of anything ever. It's from the Lego Batman movie. It's
I know
that
the
bit
one
of the
you're
gala. It makes me laugh every time. I love it. It's where he's like walking behind him, like Bruce is just walking, and like Dick Grayson's walking behind him, and he's like, "I'm an orphan. I'm named Richard, but the kids at the orphanage call me Dick." And he says like, "Oh, well, all the kids can be mean sometimes." I fucking love it. Oh man, what a Batman film that is. I love that film so much.
In trying to find this video clip that you're saying about the shut up, I've literally found this a 4-minute long video called Batman and Robin out of context funny clips, and it starts off with suit ups with the bum cheeks, and then like it literally cuts to chicks dig the car.
Oh, it's horrible.
Chicks dig
This
the car.
film. I'm gonna touch on this film's atrocious lines later on. Anyway,
Oh,
it's
this is-
puns and
yeah.
it's what a film this is with its puns. But yeah, the story. Okay, so yeah, they get back to the Batcave. Robin's all wrapped in a blanket with his hot chocolate or whatever, and they discover that the Mr. Freeze is actually Dr. Victor Fries. This is how they say it. Fries.
No, I want chips.
Yeah, it's weird. I'm pretty sure in the comics it's actually still pronounced like Frizz or like Fries
is,
or
yeah,
something,
it's
or like
pronounced Freeze.
Freeze or
Freeze, isn't
something. Freeze,
Yeah.
that's it, yeah. But no, in this they keep saying Fries. I don't know whether that's because they just I read it and it was like, that word's fries.
Joel Schumacher
fries.
doesn't know. He doesn't know to
He doesn't
correct
know?
them. That's what it is. Yeah.
He's like, well, the word's
they were hoping
fries.
for the Mackey's tie-in again, weren't they?
Yeah, that's it.
So that they can use the word fries.
Oh man, imagine what kind of thing if that little pit of like cold water that he falls into. Imagine if that was like cooking oil instead. Man would be like a fucking that would be what would be
Robin.
like. Yeah. No. The bit where it shows the clip of it of like Arnie like falling into like the cold water and becoming Mr. Freeze. Imagine if that was like if his name was if his name was like Victor Fries and he became like Deep Fried Mr. Deep Fry or something, like that. Pretty sick. That's an alternative. I imagine it would be better than the Mr. Freeze we get in this. So I'm just saying, But yeah, anyway, like I said, he falls in the water and he's all cold and shit, and he can't live without the cold, which is why he has the suit, why he needs the diamonds to power the suit, he puts the diamonds in like the run out, like he needs them for fuel. What the hell is this? What is this suit doing with the diamonds?
The explanation
diamonds
they said was they shoot a laser at the diamonds, and then the diamonds refine the laser to make it cooler. So it's just like a lens. The diamonds are just a lens.
But why does he keep putting them in?
Cool. It doesn't make any sense. That's the point.
Is he just
in this film, based with their logic, it's just something for bad guys to steal from a bank or museum.
Yeah.
Diamonds.
I don't know. Anyway, yeah, he's stealing his diamonds or whatever. You know what? The thing I thought was really weird. He has his wife all frozen in like a secret room in his fridge, but he has a girlfriend still. Does his girlfriend know about his frozen wife? Do you think?
Throughout this
she's
movie,
aware.
he just keeps flirting with women.
Yeah.
He does it in Poison Ivy as well, and it's like, aren't you supposed your whole motivation is that you're trying to save your terminally ill wife? But
Yeah.
Man's got to get his end away,
Yeah, I suppose. There's that classic line that she gives him. Where he gives her the cold shoulder.
Imagine, right, getting a semi on the job in that suit because you've not, done your business, and it gets trapped in the metal and it can't go anywhere, and it's just squishing it back in. That's why he's got his girlfriend, right, to avoid chub.
No. To be fair though,
where are you going with this, Sam? What was that supposed to be?
I'm not 100% convinced that he can still function down there, because
it's because he's got blue balls.
Hey!
We did it.
Oh yeah, but also he's always really cold.
Snaps? When something's
no.
When you've got an icicle. Do you reckon it goes like that and you can just go
oof,
shatters?
You know what? Let's just move on from this conversation.
Would it get stuck on your tongue?
Nope. Oh god. All right. Right. Okay. So let's.
Honey, I'm stuck.
Like in a cold pole.
Oh man. I'd like to think that Joel Schumacher and his crew had this exact discussion, and Arnie was his genuine concerns was this when he was trying to get into character. He was actually asking all these questions. That'd be dead good. Secretly, Joel Schumacher thought about all the elements of this film. Plot twist. Anyway, let's go over to Brazil instead, to where one of Wayne Industries' labs is being run by Dr. Jason Woodrow, who, with the help of his lab assistant, Dr. Pamela Isley, has developed a drug called Venom, very creatively named. And, because they're doing evil shit, they've cancelled the funding, and he has to weaponize the drug, sell it to some superpowers to get some cha-ching. So he creates Bane as an example, and he's like, imagine all these Banes as your army. And it's he pushes the button, doesn't he? And Bane gets all fuck knows, I don't know. It's really shit.
When he's pitching that, what does he call that group of people? Does he call them the Ununited Nations?
The Ununited Nations.
Oh yeah.
Does that mean if they have a badge, it's just going to be the UN, the United Nations? Either way, I thought that was stupid. But
would it be the UUN? Or the
UNN.
UUN.
Unknown looks better, but
Unknown.
it's not.
Do you reckon it would have, like, a skull and crossbones as its, like, logo or something?
Yeah.
Well, it's like a
It would
really...
just be whatever the logo was for the bad guys in Street Fighter. That.
Nice.
Yeah. It'd be like they're like a Bond villain or something. They've got some secret hideout in a mountain somewhere. In this scene, right, there's the secret bidder on the phone, right? This sets it up like it's going to be a plot point. Like, who's the secret bidder that just doesn't. Like, it doesn't even hint that it's anyone individual. Like, if they'd been, like, hinting like it's Russia or something, you know, kind of be like, oh, it's a secret
Pretty
power.
sure Russia are already there. When they show the ununited nations, it's just lots of Eastern countries.
Yeah, true.
The insinuation that America wouldn't have 1 million Banes in its army. Come on. Maybe that's just who the bidder is, you know?
Yeah,
It's,
maybe. But
it's
this is
Bush.
it, like, what...
Who was president at the time? I don't know.
Oh, God, I don't even know. Like, what's the point of having a secret bidder if it doesn't... I always just thought it was a really
That
weird...
even happens, to be honest.
Exactly.
Same.
What's the point? It's stupid. Anyway, she finds out. Dr. Isaac finds out. She's all like, oh, you're a weird bastard. I'm going to expose you. And then he kills her via like a chemical bath or something. But then she comes back. She comes out the ground and she's Poison Ivy. And she kills him with a kiss. But then enlists Bane as a henchman so he can go to Gotham City and get revenge on the people who've made the drug. Because that's good motivation for a villain.
That picture of them getting off the plane is the best thing in the world.
I forgot what thing it was.
So it's
Like,
photoshopped. It's just them like keyed in front of like a plane in a black and white image, and it's Bane in like a big trench coat and a hat.
Oh, good God. It's so plunked on his head.
Yeah, it's so good.
Oh man, it's just
God.
yeah. Oh my God.
They get like a commercial flight.
They must have done.
Like,
Like,
look
how
at
many?
How? He's gonna need a passport.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. It's a weird one. I mean, they're coming from Brazil, so they're not really traveling that far. Maybe they came like, oh no, because they're stood in front of a plane. Maybe they did the Indiana Jones thing and travelled by map, so they didn't need a
Travel by red line.
yeah. So they didn't need a passport. Maybe they did that. But anyway, they find their way to Gotham somehow. Meanwhile, Alfred's niece arrives, and Bruce lets her stay in his house till she goes back to school. And then just a bunch of other shit happens. You know, a whole bunch of random shit.
Yeah, that's
Poison Ivy like goes to they're revealing some big telescope thing, and she shows up. Everyone's like, "Whoa, who's this crazy bitch?" or whatever. And then Poison Ivy shows up at some Wayne Industries gala or something like that. And Batman and Robin are like betting on who gets to take her out.
Yeah.
He flashes his Batman credit card. Never leaves home without it. Oh my God.
I
would like to think that Joel Schumacher has that had that in his wallet until the day he died. Because I know I would have kept it.
Yeah, I would have done too.
And then Mr. Freeze shows up, tells everyone to chill. Tell everyone to chill. They chase after him, they capture him, he goes to jail. Poison Ivy breaks him out of jail. They go to his hideout, she kills his wife. She tells him that Batman did it. He has a bit of a moan about it. And then, meanwhile, Alfred's diagnosed with the same disease, the Gregor syndrome. That's what Mr. Freeze's wife has. Alfred gets it as well, because apparently it's just going round. Barbara discovers the Batcave, and Alfred's like, lol, I knew you would. I made you a suit.
Hang on.
Robin.
Can we appreciate one of the most poorly aged sequences in all of, like, maybe cinema, right? Which is Barbara trying to guess Alfred's password. He burns all the information about the Batcave to a DVD so he can send it to his brother. He's like, only trust family. And she goes, well, I'm family. And this is supposed to set up that she's like a computer whiz because she can guess passwords, right? So what does she do? She puts in his name, access denied. He puts in Wayne, access denied. She puts in England, access denied. She keeps thinking, oh, what's the password going to be? What's the password going to be? But there's this whole subplot about how he misses her mother and things like this, and she was called Margaret, right? And they've got this, it's just this fucking headshot that they've got on the desk of her. With like, it's like a fucking autograph in the side with a kiss, but it doesn't say Margaret, it says Peg, because that's what her name was. So she puts in Peg, access granted. Peg, access granted. Alfred, no. Alfred, no.
These films.
Oh man. I mean, right, I wasn't
Alfred
alive
says
in
hashtag
19...
Peg all men. So carry on.
That's it.
Jacob's losing the will to live slowly. I can tell.
I mean, right.
I always have, whenever they're typing in a password in films, you aren't supposed to see what it is they're typing, because that's the point of a password. It gives you the little dots so that it can't be read over your shoulder, right? So whenever there's a bit where someone's inputting a password and you could read it, just have a bit where they click the little eye icon first, so that the viewers can see what the password is. But whenever it happens, I'm like, it just.
You just gotta assume
I love that that's what your issue is with this scene.
That's not my only issue.
See the password.
Oh man, I mean,
that's my issue I have with generally within films. Whenever anyone's putting in a password, that's the way they do it. Especially if the password's supposed to be a word you're meant to recognise.
Yeah, she gets in. Whatever. The screen. There's that bit when she gets in where like it projects onto her face as well. And it's showing all the blueprints and shit on her face. Like, what kind of fucking computer is she looking at? Right. Anyway. Yeah, Jesus Christ. Batman technology, I guess. So yeah, she becomes Batgirl. Because Officer's like, lol, I've made you a suit. You know, exactly the way she did with Robin. It's like, I knew you'd find the Batcave. Let's get you a suit on.
He's kind of put nips on this one as well. It's weird.
Yeah, it's really weird.
They kind of did.
It's his niece as well.
Quite.
Yeah.
It's like he went to do it, and he was like, "This is my niece." And I know Bruce is into it, but it's a bit weird for me. So she becomes Batgirl, and now Batman has another sidekick to look after, which he didn't ask for, just like he did with Robin. So thanks for that, Alfred. Jesus Christ. Just throwing all these kids
Alfred
at
just
Bruce.
assumes that everyone, because they found the cave, wants to get involved.
Literally, yeah. And I mean,
imagine if he'd have done that for Two-Face and the Riddler. I knew you'd find this. Good that they're producing suits.
I made you a suit. Oh no, Jesus Christ. But yeah. Anyway, yeah. Batman and Robin, they have a bit of a breakup, and Robin goes and he goes to Poison Ivy, and he's all like, "Yeah, I love you." You know, big surprise. She's the villain, so she kidnaps him, and he's all surprised by it. Jesus Christ. But there's that really weird bit where she kisses him, and she's all confused why he's not dead, and he's like, rubber lips. What the fuck? You know what that feels like to me? It feels like they needed conflict in the film. So it's like, oh, what if? Oh no, it's not. It's like, oh, we need a moment where she kisses him, and then someone over his shoulder's like, doesn't she like kill people if she kisses him? And he's like, shit, rubber lips, it's fine, and that's it. Just added the line,
trying to be
lips.
sexy in it. It's like I think
just...
this film tries so hard to be sexy, and it's just cringe.
You totally failed.
Atrocious.
There's a bit, isn't there, where Poison Ivy's like led over Batman, and she's like putting a finger down him. It's like, oh, there's something about a rubber suit that makes it go wild, and I'm like, is there?
No.
What's going on? Why?
It's the way she talks as well. I don't. That's not how I imagine Poison Ivy talking. I'll bring everything you see and everything you don't. Like, it's like trying to be
so
like a dame from the 50s, but like. So, I
mean,
know,
this film
like a pedophile.
can't decide when it's set anyway, so.
Yeah.
You know, like 1 minute it's set in like the 40s, and the next thing, Batman's got a credit card, so, you know. And then there's bloody... But then it's also the future because there's projecting bloody screens, so fuck knows where it's set. Anyway.
I feel like that's really impractical. Imagine if your screen was also a projector. You'd be blinded every time you tried to use it. Just fucking hell.
Can you imagine like that, and then like you see it's on your face, so you have to like use a mirror to type
to see
project
what it is
it up onto
yeah.
you, and then it's like, but it projects it backwards so you can actually work, and you just look at yourself in a mirror as you're typing. This is it. This is what this version of Gotham is. This film that you want to make about this version of Gotham City. This is all this technology is what you've got to work with. The Batmobile complete fucking fly or something. Because do you remember that bit in Batman Forever when it just goes over the corner? Technology.
I was gonna say, is that
literal technology?
Iconic.
You know what I mean? So yeah.
In this one, he does a big old jump off a statue or something, and then all of that bit. Why wouldn't Robin be able to do it? Because he's on a motorbike. If anything, the motorbike would be able to do it more likely than this big fucking Batmobile.
Yeah.
And also, Mr. Freeze freezes it. So he's like, oh shit, I better eject. Ejects out, and then the car still makes it anyway.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like he was freezing the car so that it would crash.
It's an armoured car. Like, why is he so afraid of it, of being, like, shot out of it? Like, if he's designed this car for this exact kind of interaction, why has he not implemented something to prevent him from dying from this? It's like, I just got to bail. There goes $5 million worth of equipment. Fuck that, I'll just leave it. It's fine. I've got the money.
You know what I love? This is just something that's popped into my head discussing this scene. The bit at the start where they're in the pod that's going into space. And they're like, Batman, you're going to die in the vacuum of space. So then they blow up the pod. And they're like, how are we going to get out? Like, we could have brought something to get it out. And then they sort of look at each other and Robin goes, surf's up. And the plan is to use the broken bits of doors to surf down back to street level. How amazing is that?
And that's
also
film.
out of Power Rangers. They do that in the Power Rangers movie at the start of the movie. They do a bit of earth surfing.
What is Mr. Freeze's plan with that rocket? Right, it goes up and it's gonna explode, and then what was the point? Was it just to kill Batman?
Yeah,
that was it.
Also,
if they're surfing down on doors because the shrapnel is broken off the rocket. Imagine if you've got like 50 other surfboard-sized pieces of shrapnel falling back onto Gotham. You've just blown up, rather than escaping and let the rocket just carry off into space, they've blown the whole fucking thing up to just release tiny bits of razor-sharp metal, some of them the size of a fucking surfboard, to fall onto Gotham.
You know what though, Jacob, right? This is a city that allows massive fuck-off statues to be built in its streets and buildings with huge faces on them. I don't think they're that bothered about
there's that really weird bit, isn't there? Because there's a whole street racing thing in Gotham.
Oh, the bike race! Oh,
right?
Oh, yeah.
And it's all multi-leveled and stuff. And there's this bit at the end where they trick... The street racers trick Barbara Gordon into like going off like a ledge. But the thing is, that's the way the race was going. And there's a shot where you see like directional arrows, like in a video game, going this way. But it leads to nothing.
Do you not remember how they got to that ledge? Some fire gets thrown onto the road by some people swinging on ropes or just throwing Molotovs. They lose balance, fall off their bike, and then slide for like 100 meters. Well,
And then while they're dangling off the edge, he takes his mask off and she sees him and she just goes, ugh. You're still in danger.
Oh, this film.
Oh, they're sliding so slowly as well. They're just slowly. It's like people complain about the length of runways in Fast and Furious, right? They just keeps. Oh. Anyway.
Oh man, yeah. So, wait, what was the up to? Oh yeah, the rubber lips or whatever. And then Batman and Batgirl, they come and they find Poison Ivy and then they feed her to one of the plants, I guess. And then they go after Mr. Freeze. He's like, Batman, you killed my wife, so let me freeze the whole city. Great. But, obviously it's Batman, so they defeat him. there's that bit. What does he say? He's like, let me see if I can find the line. Let's have a look. Oh, is it the bit where he says, let's kick some ice just before he does it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And then he gets... But then Batman's got... He's got his puns prepared. He puts a heater on Mr. Freeze and goes, the heat's on, or something like that, before kicking him, or something. Fuck knows.
I really thought he was going to say
the
cool
heater's
off.
on. Oh, what a waste of opportunity.
Chill out or something.
Oh, yeah, chill out or cool off. The heater's on. What a shit pun. He may as well have just played the song, you know what I mean? Anyway. Yeah, but then, they fucking defeat him, because of course they do. And there's a moment of kind of like, oh, I've defeated, but here's the cure for that disease that your butler has. So Mr. Freeze gives him the antidote for the Hugh McGregor syndrome.
But what does he say? What does he say?
Alfred.
He says, take 2 of these and see me again in the morning.
Oh my god. You know what's really weird about this, right? At any point in this film, does he get the cure? Do we see him develop the cure that he hands to Batman? So why the fuck is his wife still frozen if he has the cure? Why is she... Does he just not want to cure her? Does he just like having all these bitches and he doesn't want to cure his wife until he's ready? Like, what's the fucking point?
I gotta sow some wild oats, like good old Poison Ivy.
Oh, he's such a weirdo. But yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter now because he's given away all of his fucking cure to some woman. We never find out what happened to his... Oh no, do we find out what happened to his wife? Doesn't Batman do something? Doesn't he save her?
Yeah, Batman saves her, yeah.
Oh, yeah, great.
The lack of like conviction in your voice then, Sam. Oh yeah, Batman saved
Batman
her.
to the day,
She's fine. Oh my
He
god.
saved her.
She's probably gonna get cured. Oh, Jesus Christ. Imagine that. Imagine having this disease, being frozen by your husband, and then waking up for some guy in a Batman costume, being like, right, your husband's like a frozen dude, he's in a psychiatric hospital, but you're cured, so...
Some dude dressed as a giant bat saved you.
Literally.
With his little Robin friend.
Like, oh, there's a girl now as well. There's a girl with him now. They come and go, just go with it. It's literally... Yeah.
You know the bit where Barbara shows up as Batgirl, and she's like, "Oh, who are you supposed to be?" And she's like, "Oh, I'm Batwoman." And he's like, "Isn't that a bit like Batman has a go?"
Oh, I hate that line so
herself
much.
Batwoman.
Oh, maybe it should be Batperson. Fuck off! Jesus Christ! You mean to tell me we've been having this stupid fucking discussion for 20-something years?
Why isn't he called Batperson? Like, his name is this is as bad. I think I need to go to bed.
Yeah, this film. No, that really annoyed me.
This film does that to you, Jacob. Don't worry, we're all the same.
Just weird, right, with this film, because obviously everyone credits this movie as like, this is why we still haven't had Robin in a proper Batman movie yet. Like this movie, these two movies combined made Robin so uncool that we can't ever have Robin again. You know what's weird? This Robin, his overall design, look, costume. There's a bit where he has a spear. That's exactly what Tim Drake is now in the comics.
Yeah.
The like main Robin looks exactly like this Robin in the comics. I just find that strange.
That really weird, like frost outfit thing they have at the end. It's just
like
got
the blue and silver one.
Yeah, the
Awful.
Robin one's just got like the Nightwing logo on it.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
What's that about? Why? He's Robin still. He's not Nightwing. Anyway, it's like Joel Schumacher saw a picture of it. He's like, "Who's that?" It's like, "Oh, it's Nightwing." Like, okay. Interesting. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. So they defeat him, and then they go to prison. But you know what's really weird about this, right? Why? Two things. Mr. Freeze was in prison, same prison earlier in the film. Mm-hmm. He was in a jumpsuit with a cell that allowed him to stay in the little area. At the end now, not only has he been put in a cell with someone he's got like a known associate of his, he's been allowed to keep his like mech suit while in prison. What's that about?
Wild, isn't it?
Like, Is she going to be dead when they come to in the morning? Like, is he going to kill her? What's going to happen?
That's the insinuation, yeah.
Is she just going to be dead? Are they just going to go in the next morning, right, come on, guys, it's your meal. Oh, and she's just dead on the floor. Is that all right? Well, it's your fault for giving me the suit and putting me in a cell with her. Like, this is a psychiatric hospital. You know what I mean? I know it's a prison as well, but fucking weird. Anyway, that's the other thing actually about this. The bit earlier on when they're breaking Mr. Freeze out of prison. Did anyone else notice the Riddler costume in the evidence room? The Riddler costume and so the bit when Bane like breaks down the wall to get Mr. Freeze's stuff earlier in the film. Yeah, just hanging from one of the things is the Riddler costume. And the
I'll be honest,
the
I wasn't
Two-Face
paying too much attention.
The only reason I think is because I remember when I was younger, when I actually didn't mind this film, when I was like 10, I was like, oh man, it's a Riddler costume, way, because it was the last film. But that's it. Joel Sugar, he's not gonna reference anyone else's film, only his own. Only his own film, anyway.
Do you think there was plans to continue this franchise after this movie?
Yes, there was plans to continue this franchise after the movie. I forgot to actually look into it, but from what I remember from years and years ago, I'm pretty sure they were going to make another one, but they just didn't get the money because this film did so poorly. But apparently it was going to be, the bad guy was going to be Scarecrow.
Right.
And it was going to be a case of they were going to bring back as many of the villains from the previous films as they could. And it was going to be Scarecrow, like, making Batman, like, he in his, like, sphere visions or whatever, he was going to start seeing the villains from the previous films. And apparently, before they cancelled it, they were in talks with Jack Nicholson to come back as the Joker.
Fuck.
Yeah.
And Coolio was going to be the Scarecrow.
Oh, who was it? There was actually someone cast as no, there wasn't.
Coolio? There's that dude? Isn't he like...
Coolio.
Really?
Is that who...
Yeah.
Coolio.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
the guy who sings Gangsta Paradise.
Gangsta Paradise, yeah.
That's amazing.
Oh my god, is it?
Holy shit.
I kind of wish we had that film now, to be honest.
Yeah. Make it happen in the Flash. That's all I want. Just give me... Please. Holy shit.
But yeah, there you go. That's the story. I've got... I mean, to be fair, the only thing I was going to talk about was the whole animated series thing, which we spoke about before. But yeah, it's like we said, yeah, Mr. Freeze, he was literally like a laughable villain. And then 5 years before this film came out, the amazing episode Heart of Ice came out. It's amazing. One of the things I was going to talk about was the disease that Nora Freeze has. So in this, it's called the McGregor syndrome, right? This is like one of 2 times it's actually been named in the media. So in like the comics and stuff, it's just an unnamed terminal illness. In the original Heart of Ice, it's just unnamed. But weirdly, right, this isn't the only film that it's called the McGregor syndrome in. It's also, when she appears in the Arrowverse, it's also called the McGregor syndrome.
You're not going to try and suggest that it's the same, are you?
I haven't seen it, but if anyone's going to do something that stupid, I imagine it would be the Arrowverse, honestly.
Yes.
Pretty sure, because Mr. Freeze appears in Gotham as well.
Yeah, I looked at that. It isn't specified in Gotham what it is. It's just a terminal illness. Because she's not frozen in that episode. I've seen that episode, actually. In that episode, it starts with, like, I think she finds Victor freezing people.
And she chooses to die, doesn't she?
Yeah, so she finds him freezing people and, like, phones the police because it's, like, fucked up or whatever. And then, while they're talking to her, you know, they're doing the classic police stuff. They're trying to look for him. He's gone on the run. And she's got this illness. And you find out the reason he's trying to freeze people is because he's trying to figure out a way to freeze her until he can find a cure. Yeah. And then she's like, you know what, fuck that, and just lets her... And, like, I think he figures it out, and then she sabotages it, so it freezes her entirely, and she kills herself. Yeah.
Yeah,
and then
he's got different, like, freeze serums. One which will just straight up kill you, and you don't come back for it, and one that eventually works, but she gives herself the one that doesn't.
Yeah, and then he attempts to kill himself the same way, but turns himself into Mr. Freeze instead. And he's just got white hair, and that's the Mr. Freeze of Gotham. He's got ice white hair.
Wow.
He still looks better than this one.
I'm glad I didn't
I'll
watch
give him that.
Gotham.
The suit's good. It hasn't got like the dome like the classic one does. It's open, but it's always like constantly blowing out steam. Or it won't be steam because that's hot, but you know what I mean, like cold air.
And then they ruin it with the ice white hair. It's all spiky and pointed up like bloody Bart Simpson or something. It's so stupid. The rest of this still looks cool. This is the problem with Gotham, right? Some of it looks really cool. Like, Gotham City itself looks amazing in that show.
Yeah.
But then... And the guy who plays the Cameron thingy guy plays the Joker. He plays the Joker well. But... There's just... Oh, it really, really annoying. Sometimes they do it really well, sometimes they do it really bad. Anyway. But the only other time the disease has been specified is in the Arkham games. In Arkham City, you don't really hear about her. Like, she's there, obviously. There's a whole side mission in that where you gotta go get her back for Mr. Freeze, but you don't really think it. But there is a DLC for Arkham Origins, and I think it's called Heart of Ice as well. It's essentially just the episode, but you find out that the disease she has is Huntington's disease, which is a real disease in real life. So, but yeah, other than that, it's just a terminal illness. Let's have a look. The only other thing I was gonna list off some of the classic Mr. Freeze puns that we all know and love.
Yay!
So let's just end with those. Here's the first one. My condition has made me cold to your pleads of mercy. Classic. In this universe, there is only one absolute. Everything freezes.
Well, vodka
You're not
doesn't.
sent... Well, I mean, if
it's cold enough, then it will.
Oh, really? Oh, I don't know.
Another one. You're not sending me to the cooler. And then obviously we've got the classic one, the one that everyone knows and loves. What killed the dinosaurs? The Ice Age! Fucking amazing.
And he freezes that dinosaur. It's well cool.
He freezes the dinosaur and they're doing skating down it. It's sick. And then obviously Stay Cool, Bird Boy. Classic. Classic. And all of those are just in the opening scene alone.
Yeah.
So the opening scene is filled. I think the only other one, like I said before, he crashes the gala and he's like, all right, everybody chill, because he's Mr. Freeze. And then as he's leaving, he goes, cool party, and then leaves. And then there's that really awful one at the end where he says, let's kick some ice, but I couldn't think of that one. But yeah, there you go. That is the dumpster fire that is Batman and Robin.
Brilliant, amazing. What we're going to do now is going to go around in a circle,
amazing.
giving any final thoughts we have on the film and individually give it a score out of 10. Looking for high numbers here, boys. And then I'm going to use maths to get an overall score out of 100 and see where it ranks on the list of the best to worst movies of all time. Amelia.
Yeah, I'm not going to spend any more time on this movie because, like we were saying before we started filming, like I can see why I haven't watched this since my childhood. I'm only going to be able to give this a 2 because people got paid to make it.
Jacob?
I wanted to give it a 0 because I hate it, but I'm not. I'll admit, as I sat down to watch it, and right at the start, there's a stunt where a guy gets punched or whatever. He ends up flying into this big ass glass cabinet, and it looks brutal as hell. I was like, wow, that was impressive.
Ow.
How am I being impressed by this? So for that one stunt alone, I'm gonna give it a 1 out of 10.
Wow, amazing. Joe?
Yeah, it's terrible. It's not good. It's not good. It's really sad because I like Mr. Freeze as a villain. I'm impartial to Poison Ivy. She's fine. She's good. But Mr. Freeze, I think he deserves a live action film where he's the villain. And it
I
should
agree.
be Heart of Ice. I mean, it shouldn't exactly be Heart of Ice because that's a good thing on its own. But it should be... he deserves... this. He's so undeserving of this terrible adaptation of him. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Aren't they talking about making a Joker-style film, but it's actually Mr. Freeze?
I kind of hate that.
I
For a Batman movie, like...
I want him as a Batman villain, yeah, because I want like the whole
Yeah.
conflict between Batman's like, he's a villain, but he's a good, he's doing it for his wife.
I'm so fucking sick of these villain movies already. I don't care. I do not care. The only reason these characters work in the first place is because of their counterpart to the super Venom.
Remember Venom?
He's goo. He's just fucking goo. I don't care. Jesus.
See, I think the only reason the Joker one worked so well was because it was like a full-on like character study. Like, he wasn't the Joker from the comics. He could easily have just been a guy who liked the character of the Joker and became, you know what I mean? He has no... I mean, he does. Something happens at the end which links it to Batman, I guess, but Mr. Freeze...
It wasn't like a Batman villain.
Yeah,
movie, though,
exactly. He wasn't the one that everyone knows from the thingy. But with Mr. Freeze, I can't imagine it really working if he's not got someone to fight him. The whole point is that he's doing the evil stuff because Batman's stopping him from just taking it. So he needs to do evil stuff to, you know what I mean? Him just being able to steal diamonds and shit with the police stopping him, it's like... great. Fantastic. No, he deserves a Batman film. Is it me? Am I still saying my thingy?
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, I completely derailed you.
No,
Same here.
No, he deserves his own thingy. He deserves his own film. And... Bane kind of got his own film, but it was fine. So, there's just no redeeming. The puns, maybe, are redeemable. They're really, funny to quote. I remember when we were in college, we used to be walking down the corridors and we would just shout them sometimes. I'm going to give it I don't know. 2. I'm going to give it 2 as well.
Wow.
Yeah.
So this movie, as far as serious criticisms go, there's big problems. Like, for example, the very opening part of the movie, you know where they do the suit up sequence? It's just not as good as last time. Last time it was all whoosh, whoosh, and big zooms in, and this time it was that's rubbish. It's really
There's just
rubbish.
something about George Clooney's ass that's just not as good as Val Kilmer's.
That's really lame, isn't it? It's really lazy. I mean, Alicia Silverstone's ass was nice. Appreciated that. You know, one up for
it's
that.
It's weird.
But
I found
you've also,
weird
you've also got to wait
like...
a really long time, and it is weird. I agree, especially like around that era. She's always playing like high. I don't know how old she was for this movie, but she was always playing high school like era, like age stuff. So it is weird. What else? That's it for negatives. Positives include surfing in the air, driving over rooftops, the race bit, or the ice puns, the putty patrol with hockey sticks, that bit where Bane like punches the floor and then just goes floor. I liked the big Venus flytrap that sort of flapped around Poison Ivy at the end, and it really looked like it was on strings. This movie's brilliant.
Don't do it. Don't do it. This is worse than Space Jam. All right.
Okay.
Don't do it.
Even I've got my limits, right? Even I've got my limits of how much I'm willing to troll. So I'm not gonna do the horrible. Let's give this movie a 10 out of 10 because honest to God, this movie was more of a drag than I wanted it to be. I was here for the nonsense, and there wasn't enough of it. And the melodrama that keeps propping up. I mean, there was one of the sentences you said in the middle of it, Joe, which was just a bunch of shit happens. Perfect description. Like, it's just like things happening to fill screen time, and it was boring. It was boring. But the laughs that it gave out of me, I'm going to be a little bit more generous than you guys. I'm going to give it a 4. Which is the exact rating I gave to Vertigo. So, that gives us an overall score of 22.5 out of 100, which... I have to actually ask you guys one question. Starting with Amelia. Do you prefer Batman and Robin, or do you prefer Digimon the movie?
Oh my God!
Batman and Robin, because I actually knew what it was. and I actually watched it as a kid, whereas Digimon can go and fuck itself.
Digimon, digital monsters. What did you think of this, Jacob?
I don't know. Which is better, Batman and Robin or Digimon the movie?
Digimon the movie.
I think I'm gonna have to say that Digimon was better.
Wow.
Oof.
Joe?
Shit. I accidentally hit my phone. I mean, it's right. I say how Batman and Robin is really shit, but you know what? I already know that it's not going to be the last time I'm ever going to watch it. Like, I know I'm going to watch it again multiple times in my life. So I'm going to pick Batman and Robin. Because I'm never going to watch Digimon again. I know that.
Well, I probably would have picked Digimon. Because despite the fact that it's not even a real movie, it's 3 individual shorts that are stitched together in a horrible manner. I had a better time with it. But that doesn't matter. Host bias wins out. Batman and Robin climbs to be the 42nd greatest movie of all time. So, very low on the list. Which brings us to the part of the show where we find out what we're going to be watching next time. So, like I said, we're wrapping up this journey. It'll be my last pick. And I have resisted for nearly 50 episodes, for nearly a full year. I know I've put you through a lot of bullshit. I do know that. I'm willing to admit that. But this time I'm really going to indulge myself. It should be no surprise what I'm going to pick. I want to watch Transformers, the movie from 1986. None of this Michael Bay bullshit, the original animated movie. And I've got a smidgen of homework to give you. Just a little bit. Just a tiny, teeny little bit. Before you watch the movie, I'm going to send you 2 links to just 2 episodes of the original show. I don't need you to take notes. We're not going to discuss the actual stories. You can literally put it on while you're doing something else, making tea, whatever. The only thing I want you to take note of is the tone. And then watch the movie. That's it.
All right.
Cool. So, Thank you very much for joining us for this episode of Batman and Robin. Let us know what you think of the movie and this episode in the comments down below. If you've been watching us on YouTube, consider hitting the like button and the subscribe button. If you've been listening to us on your favorite podcasting apps, consider hitting the follow button, subscribe button, whatever it is on there. And if you want to switch over which one you're searching for, just search for the Outtakes Movie Podcast on either YouTube or your favorite podcasting apps, and we'll come straight up. You can send us anything you like via email, via the outtakesmoviepod@gmail.com, and you can check us out on Twitter and Instagram @TheRealOuttakes. Thank you very much for watching. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.